Hello. Let's invite students. Selamlar.
Aleykümselam.
Merhaba hocam.
Merhabalar hocam.
Okay, we will be talking about pitch decks for today. As you know, after the deadline for the report submission at the 30th of November, you will be presenting your pitch decks in our next Thursday lecture. So next week I will be listening to you. But to give you a clue about what I'm expecting, I will basically show you what to include in your pitch decks. And also I will present you an example pitch deck. And after that, maybe if we have time, maybe we can talk about marketing a bit. It's something that I skipped since I didn't have time. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Okay. So have I told you the definition of a pitch deck, or have we talked about this? I guess I did not. But so what is a pitch deck? A pitch deck is basically a form of communication where you present your business idea and ask for some funds to create your business idea. This is a common thing to do when you are talking to an investor, because the general problem that we have as regular game developers is that we have nice ideas, but we don't have any money or time to develop this idea, and we don't have time because we have to work in a job to, take care of ourselves, our families, or so. Because of that, we ask for funds for our game ideas, but not just for game ideas. Even Uber or Airbnb at one time asked for funds to build their businesses. So this is a general concept in, I guess, software businesses, uh, or even businesses in general. And uh, the problem of presenting your idea and asking for a fund is investors have really limited time, and they basically watch um, all different presentations, and they decide from the available ideas. So because of that, you won't have an infinite amount of time to present your idea. You will have quite limited time. Actually, there are two different kinds of known pitch deck examples. Not examples, but categories, maybe we could say. There's an elevator pitch where you have only 1 minute to present your idea. This is called an elevator pitch because of the imaginary scenario that you and investor is in the same elevator, and you have a limited time uh, until elevator doors open. And because of that, you try to communicate your idea in a couple of sentences, and you try to deliver this much information in 1 minute or so. And this is actually a useful um, exercise because you will also be communicating your game idea to possible players, and it's actually better to tell them the concrete genre or concrete gameplay, concrete fantasy world theme, so that they will know what to expect, and your marketing campaign will be more targeted and more successful if you um, communicate what you have better. Okay, so I have talked about elevator pitch, and actually we, as I remember, created a pitch sentence in our game idea exercise. So it's went something like our game is a single player platform game where the player tries to collect money and um, fights uh, through the levels to equalize the financial balance of the world, or something like that. It was something like that. So it was an example of a pitch sentence, a sentence where a sentence which gives clues about the gameplay and the theme of the game. Uh, and after that, I have talked about a pitch deck. A pitch deck can be taught as a elevator pitch can be taught as a paragraph which you talk about your game idea. So it's 4 to 5 sentences at most. And a pitch deck is where you have around 5 minutes to present your idea, and your aim is to be clear as possible, and not leaving any question marks in the eye of the investor. So according to improved presentation, a pitch deck is a brief presentation, often created using PowerPoint, Keynote, or Prezi, used to provide your audience with quick overview of your business plan. You will usually use your pitch deck during face-to-face or online meetings with potential investors, customers, partners and co-founders. So your aim is to reach out those kinds of people. So as you can see, they are not necessarily players, or they are not necessarily game developers or game designers. So because of that, you should assume that they are um, more concerned with the business side of your game idea rather than the fun parts of that. So we are interested in the funny parts of designing and developing a game, but they're not. So you should act accordingly. And the general rule for investing is invest in a field where you have um, and where you have the knowledge. So um, they want to be, I mean, they want to see something relatable, okay, before pouring their money in. And by the way, to give you an example of a successful uh, pitch deck, I guess I can tell you about a recent investment. The CEO of Minets actually bought 50% of another company called Funpack. And if you look at Funpack company, you can see that they are a recent game company. So, I mean, it's even hard to find any links. That's interesting. Okay, but the new site is this, and it talks about Emre Kurttepe buying half of the shares in from Funpack, and Funpack is a company founded by three friends, I guess. So and they are not, I mean, old. They are probably in their 25 years old or something like that. So it's actually possible nowadays to be young and still ask for funds if you have something to show for it. So this is why we are going to focus on that. And okay, so let's get started. What should be in your pitch deck presentation? Let me show you. Okay, so there's a good site for creating pitch decks. It's called SlideBean. I actually suggest you to check it out because there are good examples and there are even good templates to choose from. You can also see the pitch deck presentation of Uber, Airbnb, or popular other projects. Okay, and in this picture you can see that actually I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to paste it here. This way it's, I guess, harder to see. Let me just zoom it out. It wasn't a good idea, I guess. But if I remove that out of the way, okay, now it's better. So according to different people or different websites, what should be on your pitch deck differs. But SlideBean collected all those popular suggestions, and they marked the needed slides according to those different sources. So according to 500 startups, a pitch deck should include 11 slides and should talk about problem, solution, product, market size, business model, underlying magic, competition, founding team, etc., and traction and fundraising also. According to Guy Kawasaki, this is a guy that talks about investment and stuff, popular guy. Your pitch deck should talk about problem, solution, business model, etc. If you look at those different approaches, you can see some um, common slides that they all suggest. And one of those slides is problem. The other one is the one that you talk about your solution to the previously stated problem, and you show your value proposition. So you propose um, your solution that can have an impact in this problem, and that can create some value for the world or for your company. Um, and an executive summary is optional, but we already talked about what an executive summary is. You even actually add an executive summary in front of your records, in front of your reports. So you can actually have an executive summary, but I believe what's what you put in an executive summary is actually um, kind of same with what is below. So you don't have to put an executive summary. Basically, your pitch deck is what's like an executive summary too. So it's not a big problem. What else? So you will have a slides to talk about market validation, although this is not mandatory. So you basically answer the question, why are you coming with this game idea right now? Why not last year, for instance? Maybe you can say that you want to be using the hype for Cyberpunk, and maybe you will be saying something like, okay, there's a popular game that is going to come out this year or next year, and it's called Cyberpunk, and I use a similar team in my game. There will be robots, and there will be a cyberpunk universe in my game too. So I believe that the hype will be reflected to my game also, and I will have an easier time marketing because of that. So this can be a possible way of talking about market validation. And you will also be talking about your product, but since you have a limited amount of time, you can't go into the details. You will at most be talking about your genre, your different mechanics perhaps, and your controls. And other than that, you will talk about your market size. So by the way, you can change the order of those slides. They don't have to be in this exact order. And sometimes you can even merge those slides. So you can maybe talk about your market size and your market validation in a same slide. This is possible. Uh, and there are different ways of talking about your market size. One approach is top to bottom. So you um, look for the game industry numbers. You look for these statistics, and you roughly estimate the ratio of how much of those shares you are going to get. So if you believe that you can compete for 2% of this market, and if you offer that, then you can have a rough estimate of your um, goal, financial goal. But a more a better approach would be going from bottom to top. So a bottom to top approach basically checks the area. So if you are, for instance, if you are going to sell ducks, rubber ducks in your area, you basically calculate the number of people who can um, buy the rubber duck, and you think about the ratio of the people that you will be reaching and who will be agreeing on buying your rubber duck, and then you come up with a more realistic solution, and you come up with a number. So if I sell rubber ducks in Istanbul, for instance, and I have um, an unlimited number of rubber ducks, but of course this is not possible. But since I mean, if we have a game, we can do that. So you can sell unlimited number of copies. But if you consider the amount of people living in Istanbul, let's say it's 15 million people, okay, maybe 16, I guess. So you basically need to calculate somehow the number of people in Istanbul that wants to buy rubber ducks, and you should somehow manage to eliminate um, the people who already have rubber ducks. So after that, you can come up with a nice estimates. It can be even more um, valid than the top to bottom approach. Uh, and the more details you have, the better. But I mean, if you can spend a lot of time to calculate your possible financial value, but you won't have an infinite time of talking about this value. So when you're talking about your market size, you should really skip this as quickly as possible to give time for other parts. And another slide is the business model slides. This is, as you can see, a quite suggested slide. So the business model slides basically um, shows how you make money. Okay, so Airbnb basically offers online payments and gets a cut from those payments. Steam does the same. Epic Games does the same. What else? Uber also gets a cut from online transactions. This is a business model. Another business model could be hyper casual business model. So hyper casual business model basically buys players for for from a cheap price, and after that, they use their player base to sell advertisements. So they show advertisements to all of their players, and they get money from other companies who wants to show advertisements. So this is another possible business model. Another business model could be selling your game. This is good if you have a complex game, such as a AAA game. People are not going to hold back, uh, because I mean players don't hold back on spending money because of the lack of money, but they um, they don't. I mean, the reason they don't spend money is because they are not sure about the quality of your game. So if you have a high quality game, you can easily ask for money before letting them play your game. But if you don't, uh, I mean, if your game is, something really simple, you won't get any benefits by that. So these are all business models. Another possible business model is selling expansions. So there's a business strategy called upselling. This is used frequently in McDonald's, for instance. So upselling means you sell uh, your game or your product from a cheap price, and when your players come for a cheap price, you can um, basically offer some additional products, and they can um, they will be more willingful to they will be willing to uh, buy your secondary products, and the real benefits is going to come from and that secondary products. So if we give an example, actually McDonald's doesn't earn much from selling you a hamburger, but um, if they manage to sell you a potato chip for 8 liras or something like that, they will benefit, I don't know, around 5 to 6 liras just for this upsale. And if they manage to sell you um, a barbecue sauce for 1 lira, almost all of that lira will go to McDonald's pockets. So those are all different business models. Uh, Different business models are more appropriate for different games, and whatever you choose, you should talk about this in a slide. So as you can see, um, all of those suggestions, all of those sources suggest talking about business model. Okay, underlying magic is the technological tools you will be presenting, you will be showing as evidence that you can manage to finish and sell this game. So a possible underlying magic is actually showing the investor a demo or a vertical slice of your game. So um, Burak Tezateşer talked about vertical slice and horizontal slice, and he said that vertical slice works better to present your game idea. I can agree with him. So let's talk about vertical slicing, okay? So vertical slicing is a polished, complete form of one scene of your game. So even if your game is not complete, you can polish one level of it, or one, you know, 10 minutes of gameplay. You can polish this part, and you can show it to an investor and make them hyped up. Or you can show this gameplay to players and get them hyped up. Actually, Avengers, recent Avengers game used this strategy. So they published a vertical slice of their game, and they even let people play this vertical slice of their game. Um, if you visited certain events, certain university events, you could try out the Avengers vertical slice, vertical slice. So this is a good way of making people hyped up. And a horizontal slice is um, an unpolished version of your game. So it doesn't have to be a complete version of your game, but um, it has most of the features already done. It's like a demo, but uh, it's a demo that gives a clue about every part of the gameplay, but the aesthetics are not complete. So uh, this is why it's not as successful as that, as vertical slicing. But you can actually, you know, show both of those as a proof that you can manage to do it, do your I mean, complete your game idea. But I'm getting a bit out of topic, because underlying magic um, actually talks about your technology. So in a game, for instance, you can um, talk about um, using a high performance game engine. Maybe if you have a engine that um, calculates small agents easily, such as soldiers in a real-time strategy game, then your game can um, calculate the movements of um, huge armies. Or let's say that your game, I mean, let's say that you have a technology that enables you to create randomized dungeons. Okay, let's say that you have a thesis written on this topic. Then you can prove, you can support your game idea with evidence of your abilities and your technology. Or I don't know. For instance, uh, I remember showing you a demo of a mechanic. Um, the game is not released yet, but a guy from Twitter is working on it. Not a guy from Twitter, but a guy who posts on Twitter. And in this game, you can take a picture of somewhere in your game scene, and you can make this picture um, reality by you know, taking a picture of a ball and putting this picture somewhere else in your room. You can create another ball. So this looks magical, and this can be the selling point of your game, or the hook of your game. Okay, what else do we need? uh, you should talk about competition. And there are different ways of talking about competition. But as you can see, all of those sources suggest talking about competition. Your competition will probably be other games. Sometimes your competition will include other platforms. So if you have a similar, it's not a good example, but let's say that you will be developing a PC game, okay? And let's say that there's a quite similar PlayStation game. Then you will be competing with that game. And you should, I mean, you can include that. You will not be competing directly because if players don't have PlayStations but already have personal computers, then it's not a real competition. They will need to buy your game, obviously. Or even a similar case was happening between two games. So one of those games was called Baba Is You, and the other one was called Dev Is You. So Dev Is You is an iOS game, and Baba Is You is an iOS game, and Dev Is You is the exact game, and so the levels are carbon copy of each other, but it's a game that you can download from Play Store. So it's a game for Android users, and the competition is there, but they are not affecting each other that much. So the creator of the second game can be argued that they stole the idea or something. They stole the game, maybe even. But there's not a real competition, actually. You can also talk about competition when you are talking about your market. And if you have a competitive advantage against your competition, you can mention that, although it's not mandatory. So after that, you may need to talk about your marketing plan and your target audience. So go-to markets is your target audience, the market that you will be going to sell out your game. And it's not mandatory, of course, but you can talk about, you can combine this with business model, maybe. For instance, when you're talking about a hyper casual game, your business model will obviously include your marketing plan. So you can talk about your expenses of your marketing strategy, to talk about your expenses in general. Other than that, you can mention your board. So your boards or advisors. So if you are already getting mentoring from other experienced people, you can mention it here. Also, oh sorry, I skipped founding team. This is more important, and this is suggested by all those sources. And our founding team is the team that is starting the company, that is starting the game idea, that is starting the game development process. And the general main three roles that you should mention is what was it? Hacker, hipster, and there was something else. Um, and the presenter or something like this. Sorry, were you saying something?
Are you talking about the cyberpunk roles?
No, not cyberpunk roles, but uh, these are the roles that you should mention in your team. So let's say that me, you, and Eylül is founding a company. Okay, I can be the hacker, meaning that I will be the um, CTO or chief technical officer, and maybe you can be the hipster, so you will be responsible for arts and marketing, and Eylül can be the one who is going to present our business idea to investors. So these three roles are essential for a startup. I mean, this is a formula generally. This is not mandatory, but most startups follow these formulas. So these three roles should be filled basically. Um, and and if you, like I said, if you have a founding, if you have advisors, you can mention them. It's not obligatory though. Okay, any questions so far? I feel like I talked too much. Okay, so another point that you can give space, you can spend some time, is traction or your milestones. So they both mean the same thing. Uh, Milestones basically mean that, I mean, milestones um, mean the points in your production um, process. So you can um, say, you can talk about the expected time that you will be releasing your alpha version, beta version, and your complete game, for instance. And you can even milestone your DLCs or expansions. Um, you can even go into details and talk about the polishness level of your game uh, at each level. So you should talk about your um, time plan here. Um, and um, other um, slide that you can have is press presence. So if your game has acknowledged by press or by users, you can talk about those. So if your game got an award, um, you can mention it here. And your fundraising should be um, here in your pitch deck, because your goal is to ask for money, and you need to tell how much money you are going to need. So this is a must. This is the most needed thing in your pitch deck. And if you want to spare some time, you can talk about you can talk about how you are going to use those funds. So you can talk about your expenses, and let's say that you're asking for 2 million liras. Okay, and you can say that half of this money will be go into the development, and the other half will be spent on marketing alone. So this is possible to mention, although as you see, not all of them, not all of the sources suggest it. uh, but maybe those sources forgot mentioning those. So depending on your game, you can um, pick some of those lines, and you can add one or two slides to mention those. Like I said, you can, I mean, as you see, these different sources suggest different number of slides in your pitch deck, but it shouldn't go, I mean, since you are going to present your slideshow in 5 minutes, around 5 minutes, you have a limited time, and it might be a better idea to cover important topics in detail rather than briefly mentioning every aspect of your game. So as you see, 500 startups suggests 11 slides, Guy Kawasaki suggests 10 slides, Sequoia Capital suggests 11 slides, Next View Ventures suggests using more than 15 slides, Crowdfunder suggests this much, and Airbnb pitch deck suggests this much. So I guess that, I mean, I would say that your slideshow will be around, 12, 13 slides at most. And you need to prepare for your slideshow. So last year, I remember presenting my slideshow to my teacher, and the requirement was presenting your game idea in 5 minutes, okay? And I wanted to practice before presenting in real time. So I called a friend of mine and I presented my idea, and it took 10 minutes, okay? And we talked about how I can cut my speech. And second time, the real in my real presentation, I reduced my talk to 4 minutes and 55 seconds. So it was 5 seconds less than 5 minutes, and I was the one that reached closest to 5 minutes in the class. So even a small practice can give you a lot of clue about how your presentation will go. And I really advise you to do that before actually presenting. It's, I mean, the practice parts will take, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes at most. Are you able to hear me, by the way? My connection is looking unstable.
Yes, we can hear.
Great. So your practice will take around 20 minutes, but the benefits will show themselves. So yeah. And I will be grading your performance of your presentation. So I will also be grading your time management. I should repeat that I'm also expecting a 5 minutes summary of your product, of your pitch deck. So sorry, of your product. Yeah, the pitch deck is already a summary. Yeah, any questions? Okay. I'm thinking about giving a break or not, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's give a 10 minutes break and we go further, okay? So see you later.